So the first thing you want to do to make vegan Cowboy cookies is toast up some flaked coconut. So this is unsweetened coconut flakes. They're unsulfured. So they're not like the kind that you get in the baking aisle that typically people put all over those Easter cakes that are super sweet and not always that great. So you want to go ahead and toast some of that coconut up. And then you want to take your flour and you want to add into your flour your baking powder, your baking soda, and your salt. And give that a good whisk together. Okay, so then the next thing that we're going to do is we are going to take our sugar, which in this case is some powdered sugar. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take some brown sugar and we're going to combine that with some melted coconut oil. So this is an unrefined coconut oil. And what that means, let me grab the container. I'm sorry, this is refined. Can you hand me that container right there, please? So I've added to my brown sugar some refined coconut oil. So there's unrefined and refined. Refined isn't going to taste like coconut, whereas the unrefined or virgin will taste like coconut. So I'm going to add those two things together. Just gonna mix that together. And I'm going to go ahead and add this right into my mixer here. Cream that. Let the mixer do the work for me. Okay, so I've got my brown sugar and my coconut oil in here. I'm also going to add some, you can add almond butter, you can add peanut butter, you can add honey butter, whatever you would like to this. I'm using some almond butter. And then I'm also going to add in some water. And I'm going to add in some vanilla bean paste. And I'm going to go ahead and scrape this down. All right, next I'm going to go ahead and start adding in my flour. And stop and scrape. Knock it off my paddle attachment. All right, so that looks like it's nice and combined. I'm going to go ahead and add in my oats. And then I also have some pecans, some chocolate chips, some cranberries, and of course my toasted coconut. And I'll just give this a quick blitz just until it comes together. Make sure there's no dry ingredients on the bottom. That looks fantastic. And then that's it. So you're going to want to cover the plastic and just let it sit at room temperature for at least an hour. And then you can go ahead and bake them up. If you aren't ready to bake them, you can put the dough in the refrigerator for 24 hours. And then you're going to want to bring them back out and let the dough sit for 30 minutes before you make up your cookies. And that is it. So to bake up our cookies, you can decide what size you want. I'm just using a little scooper here. I like nice size cookies. So I'm going to go ahead and scoop this dough out right onto my baking sheet. Should be able to get 6 really nice sized cookies. Put this one back in there because he's not big enough. I'm going to just separate these out. Make sure there's enough space between them so they can do their thing. Okay. So I'm going to bake these for about 14 minutes. I'm going to rotate it halfway through. And you just want to cook it until the edges are light and golden. And they've just begun to set in the center, but they're still soft. So about 14 minutes. All right, into the oven we go. All right, our Cowboy cookies are all cooked up and ready to enjoy. Let them cool, they'll flatten out a little bit, and then you'll be ready to eat them. Enjoy.